It's Hurts. It's a deep ball. Looking for Devontae Smith. What a catch!
I gotta say, this season, perhaps more than others, has been full of pleasant little surprises. And regardless of how your team fared during the regular season, whether they made the playoffs or not, I can guarantee you that there is at least one guy on each team that exceeded expectations this year. The NFL is the land of opportunity in many ways. Each year, we see new names pop up that we never expected to, that ultimately play a huge role in their team's success and blow the roof off their projected production. And you know, the 2022-2023 season was no exception. Let's take a look at every NFL team's most exciting surprise player of this year.
98-yard drives, what just happened. We just listened to Van Jefferson talk about your confidence, Baker.
Arizona Cardinals, Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons, the Cardinals' first-round pick back in the 2020 draft, was having a tough time adjusting to the NFL. The transition is rarely simple, but the challenges were ratcheted up because of Arizona's indecision on where to play the versatile defender. He has taken snaps all over the defensive side of the ball, from inside linebacker to outside backer, defensive line, safety, cornerback. Heck, he's even played slot corner. But this season, Arizona has narrowed the focus for Simmons and primarily played him at defensive back, and he has quickly become one of the most consistent contributors on that defensive unit. Atlanta Falcons, Michael Walker. Michael Walker is another 2020 draft pick that broke out this past season. After earning a spot in the starting lineup, the Falcons linebacker shocked everyone by nearly tripling his tackle total from last year. And if that weren't enough, the former fourth-round pick also showed his skills in coverage have drastically improved, snagging 2 interceptions and defending 6 passes, making for single-season totals that bested his previous career totals. Baltimore Ravens, J.K. Dobbins. Though he looked promising his rookie year, people had their doubts about what J.K. Dobbins would look like coming off the ACL tear he suffered during the 2021 preseason. And a lot of the haters thought that they were going to be proven right after the way he looked to start the season. It took him until week 3 to get slotted back in as the starter, and to make matters even worse, he ended up missing a chunk of his season due to another knee injury. The entire narrative, however, shifted after a return to action in week 14. Dobbins has been averaging over 94 rushing yards per game since, despite only carrying the ball more than 15 times once. Buffalo Bills, Matt Milano. After earning his way into the starting lineup as a 5th-round pick his rookie season, there was never any doubt that Matt Milano was a quality NFL player. Unfortunately, the weak side linebacker out of BC has really struggled to stay healthy throughout his career, until 2022, when he surprised everyone by actually playing his first full season since his rookie year. Carolina Panthers, D'Onta Foreman. Though he showed flashes last year during his time filling in for Derrick Henry in Tennessee, I doubt that anyone was expecting a 900-plus rushing yard season out of D'Onta Foreman. In part because he was initially behind Christian McCaffrey on the depth chart. But nevertheless, an opportunity opened for him, and Foreman clearly made the most of it, going for 914 yards on the ground and 5 touchdowns. Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. It's hard to act all that surprised when the former 11th overall pick in the draft develops, even when it is a quarterback with the athleticism and collegiate resume that Justin Fields has. But heading into the season, there was serious doubts about the former Ohio State quarterback. But in 15 games this year, he really took some strides as a passer, throwing 17 touchdowns to just 11 interceptions. A marketable improvement, and presumably a phenomenal surprise for the Chicago faithful, especially after seeing what an insane threat he is on the ground as well, going for over 1,100 rushing yards. Cincinnati Bengals, Von Bell. Von Bell has really emerged this season as a solidifying force in the Bengals' defensive secondary. He has snagged 4 interceptions, doubling his career total up to this point. And this is a guy that's been in the league since 2016. With 2 career picks in 6 seasons, I doubt many were anticipating a 4-pick year out of this safety. Cleveland Browns, Amari Cooper. After Dallas dealt him for cap purposes, there were a lot of people talking like Amari Cooper was completely washed up or something. But you know, he's looked extremely impressive in an otherwise pedestrian Browns offense. He went for 1,160 yards and 9 touchdowns with Jacoby Brissett throwing him the ball most of the year, making it safe to say that Amari shocked his doubters. Dallas Cowboys, Tony Pollard. Despite still having to share a large chunk of the workload with Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard has proven himself to be one of the best playmaking backs in the league this year. He went for over 1,000 yards on the ground on 193 carries and routinely looked like the most explosive runner the Cowboys have. Pollard also went for 12 total touchdowns after netting just 10 during the first 3 years of his career, thus positioning himself for a big payday very soon. Denver Broncos, Latavius Murray. The journeyman running back had a rather impressive season for a horrendous Broncos offense. Murray went for over 700 yards in 12 games, his best total since 2017. And that was with opposing defenses knowing that the Broncos couldn't pass the ball to save their lives. Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. Heading into the season, expectations were pretty low for Detroit, but Jared Goff has been a huge part of their resurgence and near playoff run that we saw them make during the second half of the season. Goff looked borderline better than he did during his Pro Bowl seasons in Sean McVay's offense, going for 4,438 yards and 29 touchdowns through air compared to just 7 picks, tying his lowest total of his career. Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson. Watson's emergence all started with his breakout 107-yard, 3-touchdown performance against the Cowboys in Week 10. And from that point on, he routinely ran himself open down the field, proving himself capable of a big play at any moment, and added 2 more 100-yard games in what was a shockingly inconsistent Green Bay offense. He finished the season with 611 yards and 7 touchdowns, and he will likely be one of the names thrown around as being ready for a big boom heading into the 2023 season. Houston Texans, Dameon Pierce. There really hasn't been much to get excited about in Houston this year, but before the Texans placed him on injured reserve, the former 4th-round pick was one of the scarce bright spots on this squad. Pierce had a couple of monster games this season, going over 90 yards 5 times, 2 of which were for over 130, despite Houston rarely finding itself in a position to run the ball all that much. Indianapolis Colts, Rodney Thomas. Rookie Rodney Thomas has been one of the very few sparks of excitement in a horrific season for the Colts. Expectations were low with Indy taking him in the 7th round last year, but the young linebacker has just balled out, making tackles all over the field and adding 4 interceptions in coverage. Jacksonville Jaguars, Tyson Campbell. Okay, we could have easily just put the entire Jags team here for that late-season playoff run that they made, but Tyson Campbell deserves some shine for the strides that he's made, especially when it comes to supporting Jacksonville's run defense. The young cornerback has played so well that Jags fans are starting to already draw comparisons to their former star, Jalen Ramsey. Kansas City Chiefs, Jerick McKinnon. The journeyman running back has really come to life during his second season in the Chiefs' high-powered offense. McKinnon has always had explosive playmaking ability, but I don't think many were expecting him to put up double-digit touchdowns this season. Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs. There has never been any doubt about the former Alabama running back's talent, but I mean, no one expected this monstrous season out of Josh Jacobs. Not even his own team, which foolishly declined his 5th-year option heading into this year. But the Raiders running back went for an insane 1,653 yards and 12 touchdowns on the ground, which are both career bests. Los Angeles Chargers, Asante Samuel Jr. After 2 concussions limited the young cornerback to 12 games in his rookie season, Asante Samuel Jr. has made a huge leap in year 2. Opposing quarterbacks have completed just 55.2% of their passes thrown his way, and the young DB did better than expected in shouldering the burden, with J.C. Jackson missing double-digit games this season. Los Angeles Rams, Baker Mayfield. While most of the surprises in LA this year have been negative, the addition of Baker Mayfield late this season has actually gone better than expected. Now, the Rams haven't exactly regained Super Bowl form with the former Heisman winner, but he has looked way better than he did in Carolina, and he may very well play himself into an opportunity at eventually succeeding Matt Stafford. Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. Though the narrative has been hijacked by his battles with concussions, the progressions that Tua has made under Mike McDaniel were at one point one of the hottest storylines in the game, and with very good reason. The former Crimson Tide QB has looked like a completely new guy under the first-year head post, and Miami might just have a quarterback after all. Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Any fan that has rooted for Kirk in the past will tell you that disappointment is always looming around the corner. But you know, 2022 has been one of the most complete seasons that he has had as a pro. While there may be a lingering fear that the other shoe will drop, it's hard to deny 4,500 plus yards and 29 touchdowns for a 13-win team. New England Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson. There hasn't been all that much to get excited about this season in New England, but you know, the Patriots' second-year running back has done pretty well to make his case. He made huge jumps across the board statistically, putting together a hell of a year, as he went for over 1,000 yards on the ground for the first time and added 69 catches for 421 yards. New Orleans Saints, Rashid Shaheed. Although his counting numbers aren't massive, Rashid Shaheed had an extremely promising and admittedly surprising rookie season coming out of Weber State. Shaheed has looked electric since his return from injury. Folks in New Orleans cannot wait to see what he looks like after a full offseason with the team. New York Giants, Dexter Lawrence. After the Giants took him 17th overall in the 2019 draft, he seemed to struggle to meet the lofty expectations people had for him coming into the league. This season, however, Lawrence has routinely created problems for opposing offensive lines, and been a huge part of the renaissance going on under Brian Daboll in New York. He went for 7.5 sacks when his previous NFL best was 4, and he eclipsed his single-season tackle high by 14, netting 68 combined tackles, earning a Pro Bowl selection for the first time in his career. New York Jets, Breece Hall. Jets fans definitely had high hopes for Breece Hall after New York took him early in the second round out of Iowa State. And though his season was cut short due to an ACL tear, he was still one of the most pleasant surprises that the Jets have had in quite some time. Because while he was healthy, he looked like one of the most explosive runners around the league. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. Entering the 2022 season, Philly was extremely divided on Jalen Hurts. Some loved him, some hated him. Maybe hate is a strong word, but they didn't think he could pass the ball consistently enough to be a franchise QB at the NFL level. Hurts, however, has done more than enough to shock and subsequently prove the haters wrong. And before he got injured, he was a serious contender for league MVP honors. Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett. Although there was certainly hope that Kenny Pickett would be the guy in Pittsburgh, I don't think there were too many people that expected him to look as game-ready as he has thus far. Heading into the year, there were more than a few voices suggesting that he'd get usurped in the Steel City by Mitch Trubisky. It's safe to say that isn't happening anytime soon. San Francisco 49ers, Brock Purdy. Anytime Mr. Irrelevant earns a foothold in the league, it's considered a bit of a surprise. But when he takes the reins as a starter and a Super Bowl favorite doesn't miss a beat, well, that really takes the shock to a whole new stratosphere. And that is exactly what Brock Purdy has done in San Fran. Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith. Regardless of whether or not he wrote back, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone this side of Geno Smith who believed that Geno Smith would break the Seahawks single-season passing record in his first full season as a starter since 2014. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jamel Dean. Heading into the season, it was unclear who was going to start across from Carlton Davis III at cornerback in Tampa. But after winning the job over Sean Murphy-Bunting, Jamel Dean has quickly emerged as one of the most impressive corners in the league. So much so that he should be ripe for a major payday very soon. Tennessee Titans, Jeffrey Simmons. Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons made a name for himself last year, earning Pro Bowl honors for the first time. Not to mention his epic performance in the AFC divisional round loss against the Bengals, during which he netted 3 sacks, QB hits, and tackles for a loss. This performance certainly raised expectations for Simmons this season. But still, few expected him to emerge as one of the few truly elite defensive tackles in the game. I mean, so much so that his name is now getting thrown around in the same sentence as Aaron Donald. Washington Commanders, Brian Robinson. It feels like we have to go with Brian Robinson here. After all, the guy got shot in the leg during an attempted robbery just before the season started and somehow made it back into action by week 5. And he wasn't just standing on the sidelines either. He had a few awesome performances, including a game-winning touchdown against the Bears and a 100-yard rushing performance against the Falcons in week 12. But who do you think was your favorite NFL team's most surprising player? Was there anyone that we missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. Hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.